Hello everybody, Richard the Dick Coughlin 616 here. Now this video is going to be a response video to a guy who you may have heard of called Martin J. Willett. He's an English vlogger and an atheist, but he's also a conservative. You may have seen his page promoted on Pat Condell's page. And he made a video called The Great Betrayal, and I want to respond to the prologue part of The Great Betrayal, because you say some things, Martin, that I find rather interesting and very, very peculiar. Now, I'm not going to respond to, because I don't know enough about Enoch Powell, but I don't need to in order to respond to certain things you've said here, Martin. Like, everything you're saying is in context as I understand it, okay?
Racism was not invented by Enoch Powell.
Right, now, I have never, now I could be wrong here, and if you can show me some evidence of anyone ever saying this, I have never heard a single person suggest that racism was invented by Enoch Powell.
Here is a photograph taken the year before this speech. I know the year because I know how old I was when the picture was taken. If you can't see the graffiti clearly in the normal view, try this. Photographic negative. It stands out clearer. Nigs go home.
Now obviously that's obviously a racist daubing on a wall. Nigs go home, right? There was a lot of racial tension. There still is, but there we go. Anyway, this is the bit that pisses me the fuck off, Martin.
It is perfectly normal and reasonable for people to feel threatened by immigrants, especially those who are very different. Racism is a completely normal aspect of human behaviour.
Racism is a completely normal aspect of human behaviour, and that makes it reasonable. Martin, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're an atheist, aren't you? I know you're an atheist because, well, you've done lots of videos stating you don't believe in God. Well, in the grand scheme of things, believing in God is a perfectly natural fucking thing. In fact, what is an unnatural state of mind, Martin? Are you saying it's unnatural to not be racist? The fact that there are people who are not racist is unnatural. Is that what you're saying? I don't know. What does that mean? There is no sort of state of mind or opinion that you can say is unnatural. You can say that some people might be lying, but unnatural. But it's natural. So fucking what? It's natural. So are cancer and AIDS. Should we just ignore these fucking things? Just because lots of people fucking believe it, that makes it better or right?
It does no good to pretend that it is all whipped up by evil, manipulative men from the ruling class or the plutocracy.
It does no good to point that out. It does no good to point out. I hate to have to make a Hitler reference here, so I'm not gonna. But you're saying it does no good to fucking point out that there are people maybe demonising other and whipping people up to convince them that... Are you saying it's unnatural and it's wrong for me to sit here and think that, hey, immigrants aren't to blame for everything?
Many on the left have tried to pretend.
Pretend? What, so Nick Griffin, for example, who you've made videos against, by the way. Nick Griffin, he doesn't stir up hatred for people. Like, not just immigrants, but the Jews as well. He's done videos like that. You're telling me these people don't stir up? The National Front don't stir up hatred? Is that what you're saying?
No. Racist attitudes arise spontaneously among the economically weak, and they are not irrational.
They are spontaneous. They're spontaneous. What? So someone wakes up and boom, oh fuck me, I'm a racist. I didn't realise this until yesterday, but now I'm skint. I've got. You know what? You're right. I agree with you that in times of economic struggle, when you've got people who maybe feel disenfranchised or people who feel neglected, that racism is a good tool for someone to exploit that situation, as has been done. But to say that it's rational, so bigotry by its definition is not rational, right? How can you say that there is rational bigotry? And again, I go back to this. I could use this argument for anything. I could use this argument, a theist could use this argument against you for believing in God. Because you notice that belief in God amongst the working class is at its highest there, right? Is that spontaneous, or is it something that's bred into people?
The working class are not naturally socialists or leftists. Try speaking to them, and you will see.
Oh, of course, the try speaking to them argument. They're not naturally... So, well, I'm working... I know a lot of people like to say this, like to try and fob me off as I'm not... So you're not working class. They seem to think I live in some fancy fucking whites-only fucking area in fucking Islington. But yeah, there's a lot of fucking people I've known who are not lefties, who are working class. But so fucking what? That means... How is that I've been accused of fucking justifying a lot of fucking piss... I've had a lot of people call me names and say I'm trying to make justifications for a lot of fucked up shit. Right? This sounds to me like you're basically saying racism is okay and anyone who is racist is perfectly reasonable.
A handful of them are socialists by nature.
You just said there, you've just fucking said there, a handful of lefties are socialist by nature. When you've just said the working class are not naturally socialist. I mean, what the fuck, dude? How does that work? You've just said we're not socialist by nature. So what is it? So a default position. So the default position, I'm going to assume is what you're saying there, is racist and not socialist. Also, there's a big difference, you know, between not socialist and racist. Right? These aren't the only two things.
But not the majority.
So fucking what?
Leftists have ensured that those on the right are silenced.
Oh, here we go again. Oh, the old classic line of they're silent. Really, is that why the BNP were allowed to go on Question Time? Is that why it is? Is that why the EDL are allowed to protest every fucking week? They're allowed to protest. Is that why Tommy Robinson has been allowed to go on Sky News and on Newsnight? Is that why the Sun newspaper, owned by Murdoch, are you saying that's a leftist paper? It's the biggest selling fucking English language newspaper in the world, or the Daily Mail, or the Telegraph, or the Daily Star, or the Express. These are all leftist papers, and they might not be conservative enough for you, but to sit there and say they've been silenced, what, they've been silenced, how?
That happens to be the view of most of the working class.
Oh, it's the view of most of the working class. Well, it must be true then, because they're obviously all so well informed, aren't they?
It is the socialists who are the class traitors.
You know what? I am sick of that fucking word, class traitor. So I'm a class traitor, right? So racism is natural, and anyone who tries to make you fucking, anyone who tries to convince you that, you know, that you're being racist is wrong or irrational, or it's unreasonable, or it's unnecessary, is a traitor. Well, do you know what? Fuck my fucking class. I don't want to be fucking represented. I don't see why I should be defined, or anyone should be defined by their fucking class. How is this any different when people say I'm a race traitor? How is that any fucking different? That's all I wanted to say on this, Martin. And I'm curious, you know, the Enoch Powell speech, I'm not going to go into Enoch Powell. I'm not knowledgeable enough to do that. But I do know a man who is. Some say that his nipples are Islam, and that if you turn his head upside down, he looks exactly the same. All we know is, he's D-Land and Cole. Richard the Dick Coughlin, 616, good night, may God be less. Yeah, I'm not racist, but